this week I've been bringing back some of our old friendly voices here on 92.3 Bob FM. Of course, we were Bob, we were Fresh Mix. You heard from Tina Sapp here earlier. Yesterday, actually, you heard from the Treacer Man. We have had so many good people that have been here over the course of the years. There is one guy, though, that really started this all for me 16 years ago when I first stepped foot in the doors, and I am so happy that we can bring him back here for this and talk with him and get caught up with things, because still to this day, I have a neighbor that asks how he's doing. So I always tell him how they're doing, and that is Paul Aberli, a.k.a. Quaid now. And Paul, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. I've been, I left there 2001, and I've been in the Quincy-Hannibal region ever since then. Everything's good. I mean, I've programmed a rock station for a dozen years, and I got a new assignment last year to create a new station that, to be perfectly honest with you, it's not even really a format. No offense, although maybe something very similar to what Bob is. It's kind of a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and the primary target is moms and adult women. So, yeah, there's some similarities.
I just threw a whole bunch of names as the fact that apparently you work with Sean Seacrease. You and him, you guys are really the ones that got me started up here. I mean, you were the one that actually hired me. So I don't know where the betting pool was at that time. I just want to know, do I get to collect since I went 16 years, or does Bob get to collect because he's still here, Bob Chancellor in our sales department? So
Bob collects anyway because he gets commission. So I will say that you should collect because you don't get that. Wow. And you know what? And I was thinking about this, and I think I remember back to when you first started and when you came to visit us, because we had students from Warrensburg who would come over and work part-time. Mm-hmm. You weren't the first one. You were, I want to say, 4 or 5 down the list for students that we hired, and they would tell me about you. They would say, "Oh, Doug's did this, and he's kind of the station, student manager." And so when you showed up, I expected more out of you. I was a little harder on you than I was on Tina or on Donovan, John Ackerman. I expected more out of you because you'd already been in a position of leadership within the business. And was that fair? I don't know. Did that make you climb the ladder? I don't know, but I will admit I was harder on you than I was on them, and maybe they would even admit to recognizing that too.
Well, you know what? It was great to get on board then and be around you and just learn from you, Paul. To be honest with you, there was a lot of things that I learned. Of course, we were today's best hits format back then, I remember just getting thrown in the gauntlet from the fact that I worked at a jazz radio station to that. I remember tempo was the thing I had to work on the most.
Yeah, pick up the pace. Let's go. You can't slow everything down. That's still true.
Working with Sean Seacrease and Dan Claxton as well. That was just quite the crew. Of course, you learned from Nick Fredericks, who is a.k.a. Cosmo now. People know him. And, it was just some great years to actually be able for me to learn. And I think that I applied that over the course of the last 16 years as I'm getting ready to step down. But I got to say, I want to thank you for this. You actually gave me my very first nickname, which still some people refer to me around here as. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. It's hard for me to not call you Orbit when it's out of deference to people who weren't there at the time that you were given that name, that I don't call you that, say on social media and stuff, because they weren't in on it. But yeah, you're Orbit, and I wanted you to be that character on the air.
I'd like to think I was for a while till we switched formats. So, but those are definitely some great times. I got to tell you, a quick memory of something that I have of you dealing with me is the fact that if it weren't for you, okay, we just talked about how I was doing the evenings and the weekends. I don't know if you remember how I got to do the first afternoon shift on 92.1 back then. Scott Anthony was the afternoon host. you went to go see The Cure. You're a big Cure fan. I assume that's still the truth, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You went to go see The Cure, and you told me, he was like, I'm taking the day off. We're going to go see The Cure. Scott's going to do the mornings. Doug, you're going to do the afternoons, and that was that. And I was in the afternoon slot for the very first time because of that.
Robert Smith equaled you being on in the afternoon.
Yeah, who knew?
Wow.
What is probably your favorite memory here when you were working here, out of curiosity? Not even dealing with me. What's probably your favorite memory?
There's so many things that happened, and you got to remember, I didn't work at the building you're at now. I worked in the old building, and I'm very appreciative when you put pictures up from the old building, because there are times that I'll still dream. That'll be the setting for a dream I'll have, will be in that old building. I know that's scary. One of my favorite memories is the first fair I worked at, and this is back when Kick still had the big boot that was mounted on top of the buggy. People would steal that boot. I'm sure a lot of people remember that.
Yeah, we still have the boot, believe it or not. It's just different. It's just we did a different design on it.
Okay, somebody had stolen the boot, and they let me show up, to work out at the fair at our tent, and the boot had been stolen, and I spent probably 90 minutes searching for the boot, only to find that it had been put on stage on the fair. That's a nice, safe, fun for every audience member memory.
Yeah.
From KSDL times, yeah.
Oh, those are good times. I have little known facts about Doug that I've been sharing all throughout the course of the week, and it deals with you. It deals with you, Paul. Let's see if you remember it. The first weekend, Tina had trained me on the weekends, and the very first weekend, we had a storm come through. We lost one station while I was up there. I called Carl up. He's like, well, this is what you need to do. Bring it up, and then he told me this. Then while I was doing that, KSIS went off the air. Then as we got all that up, KXKX went off the air. So I left you a note, Paul. My first weekend here, all by myself, all three stations went down. I have nowhere to go other than to improve. Do you remember that note out of curiosity?
Vaguely. And I probably yelled something, obvious at it,
Well, I feel like I've improved, though, now, Paul, so...
Well, you didn't get fired.
That's true. That's true. Paul, it has been great to catch up with you, and I wish you happiness up there. You tell Sean Seacrease I said hello, all right?
I will do that. If people want to listen to Sean and I do a political talk show, we stream it weekday mornings between 10 and 11 o'clock at WTAD.com. Thank you for having me be part of this, Doug. And I'm very sorry to hear that you're going to be hanging up your headset. Don't put them too far away. Broadcasters are always broadcasters. Much luck in your new job, Doug.
All right, Paul. You take care. Thanks.